Partially, I think I agree to the extent that Ole Lenku failed and Kimaiyo failed. So to that extent, I think we are not going to be revisionist and begin showering them with accolades now that they've stepped aside or a replacement has been suggested, to begin saying that they were not to blame. In reality, I think in the last show we sat here and said one of the things that were missing within the national security process is clarity of what is the national security policy. And that's one thing that Ole Lenku was expected to put on the table. Nobody expected him to go and fight. But he did not put it on the table. And that he may say, oh, I put it on the table, but because I didn't have political clout, as Weda would want to say, that's why it was not given preference. But we didn't have that policy anywhere, not even in his drawers as he hands over. So we need to ask ourselves what was wrong with that. Did he, even as he took up the mandate in saying yes, understand he is the one to offer policy direction? And this is what we need to expect of Ngaiseri. I'm one of the people who would not easily have endorsed his position, but if Kenyans say so through the vetting process, I'll agree to it. But Ngaiseri served his part in the defense forces. He's now a politician and in the opposition party. I would have thought that Ngaiseri and his team in ODM and the CORD team would have given us alternative policy positions when they were in parliament. They've not done so. So to begin to presuppose that he's going to do it now that he's been appointed, I think is to expect too much.
But he's not been appointed as ODM.
Yeah, whether he's been appointed as ODM, he's been there. Remember, he was in the defense forces when this constitution...
no, the clarity is that I don't
when
think
the processes,
ODM nominated him specifically for that position.
Yeah, but
for that
as a specialist, Hassan, you say you're a specialist on human rights. And if CORD team wanted human rights proposals when you are a senator, and we notice that the proposals they've made are wanting, we will point a finger at you. We will not say... so in terms of Kimaiyo, I think there is a challenge in the country. People have refused to accept that the constitution is in force and that the role of the Inspector General is coordination.
Okay.
And ability to develop coordinates that can be effective within the two administration police and regular police.
Okay.
I asked people, if you looked at Kimaiyo arriving at Westgate in his checked coat as if he's coming from a wedding, a junior officer having to remind him that you need to put on a bulletproof. This was 3 hours after the fact in Westgate. That would tell you that there was something wanting against his ability to just read into circumstances and understand what he must do. If this is the person who was supposed to be coordinating a process and he arrives on a scene 3 hours after the fact, and it's like he's going into a press conference and he's reminded, this is a combat area, people are being killed here. This is how you ought to be looking like. I agree. Weda says Lenku being told jualas and everything. We've not managed to come to terms on what went wrong with the operation in Westgate. We've not managed to come to terms that most of the attacks going on in Kenya from external enemies or from internal challenges. In reality, we've been able to say most of them are external, meaning we need to be questioning KDF.
Okay.
Is KDF well prepared to protect our borders?